Hello. Of course, you are probably continually distracted by the spectacle of modern media, ongoing judicial trials or extractions of nations from continental unions, but these are merely temporal expressions of the timeless. Here is some access to the timeless, in this case, Eric Fromm on disobedience. Good stuff, this. Many nations have had their prophets. The Buddha lived his teachings. Christ appeared in the flesh. Socrates died according to his ideas. Spinoza lived them. And they all made a deep impression on the human race precisely because their idea was manifested in the flesh in each one of them. Oh, okay, so we've got to manifest what we believe in. It's no good just spouting stuff off like I am now. Prophets appear only at intervals in the history of humanity. They die and leave their message. The message is accepted by millions. It becomes dear to them. This is precisely the reason why the idea becomes exploitable for others who can make use of the attachment of the people to these ideas for their own purposes, those of ruling and controlling. Remember, people want to rule and control. So when you're looking at modern media phenomena, or perhaps thinking about the distinction between the current president and the last one, or the current prime minister and the last one, remember, even in the relatively brief period that our species has been on the planet, these are small fluctuations from space, deep outer and deep inner. These minor superficial changes are meaningless. The structures behind them do not significantly alter. Power remains power. Let us call the men who make use of the ideas the prophets have announced the priests. The prophets live their ideas. The priests administer them to the people who are attached to the idea. The idea has lost its vitality. It has become a formula. The priests declare that it is very important how the idea is formulated. Naturally, the formulation becomes always important after the experience is dead. How else could one control people? By controlling their thoughts, unless there is the correct formulation. I suppose what this is saying is that, Christ or Muhammad or Buddha or Socrates or anyone that embodies a spiritual truth, Amma, to give a contemporary example, is a cipher for greatness that we can learn from and emulate. But we ought not be satisfied with an intellectual formula instead of a visceral spiritual experience. Let us endeavour to not be distracted by the spectacle of modern politics and modern media. Let us acknowledge that deeper truths continue perennially beneath the surface. Let us try to access them together and live on that frequency. Let's never forget that politics should be about liberty and justice. And liberty and justice remain possible. And that all of the stories and all of the ideas of our times come through the consciousness of human beings like us, that we do not need to be spoon-fed ideologies by others, but that we collectively can conjure new realms, new ideas, new civilizations, just as the civilizations that we currently inhabit were themselves conjured by the consciousness of individuals and collectives. Don't give up, don't be distracted, don't be afraid to be disobedient. Thank you. That was an announcement from a man in a jumper.